that are done. We'll check your work. I will go over what you ask about. Those of you that are not will not have time to copy it all down, but it is recorded on the video. There, the answers are highlighted. Number 14 is 15 and 19. Number 15 is 60.7 degrees. Pardon me? No, because it says right there, nearest tenth of a degree. I know, not reading the question is kind of problematic. Remember when you go for your license, when they say turn left, turn left, because that's the instructions. Number 16, there's two ways you could do it. The question specifically says they're anchored to the same point in the ground. So you technically need two triangles on the same side. But this green triangle, you could put it over here and then just do the work. Then you would have needed to add that distance and that distance to get 24. I am more than willing to go over it in greater detail, but I think that when you see it this way, you shouldn't have too much trouble figuring it out, because this triangle was just over here, but you just moved it over there for the purpose of the work, because all you needed was to add the two hypotenuses. I don't know if the plural of hypotenuse is indeed hypotenuses, but I don't know. Some people make everything I, like octopus. They say it's octopi, but it's not. It's octopuses. Rhinoceros is rhinoceroses, but fungus is fungi, and cactus is cacti. English is weird, but everybody should learn it according to everybody who speaks English, even though it's the stupidest language in the entire world. Everybody okay with 16 now when you see it that way? All right. 17, my man Peeping Tom. This is the distance between them. But the question says how many floors separate them. So I will accept either 15 or 16, of course, if you were doing this on a test. Some people argue and they'll say, well, you don't count the floors they're actually on. There's only 15 floors between them. I don't really care. Any questions about that one? A lot of kids have a lot of trouble drawing these triangles. Lot of kids. So if you are one of those kids that had trouble drawing this, now is the time to ask. Nathan.
So I just realized this while I was looking over it again. I got to like the point of getting the first angle, like looking down.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got stuck at the top one, looking up, didn't go. Then I had one piece of information.
But you didn't. Okay, carry on.
I had to find in the looking down.
Hey, Jenna.
The opposite.
Can I put the quiz and then go to the classroom?
No, because we are not doing the quiz till later in the class. Sorry, Nathan.
You need to find the opposite, like the distance between the two buildings.
The distance between the two buildings you needed to find to get the the second piece of information. Because, of course, Tom is standing in his building 13 floors off the ground. He sees Elizabeth. Normally, Tom is looking straight across the other building, looking for somebody to peep on. He sees Elizabeth at an angle of depression of 40, and then he sees Sandra up here at 10. The only part of these two triangles I know is this is 130. So once I have that, I find that, then I use that to find that. Yeah. And that's written all here. Colors are going to change because I erased some of my work. Yeah. Number 18, it was 41 degrees because, of course, the mistake most of you make is when you cut this in half, you forget to cut this in half, and you leave the bottom as 12. You had to make that 6, So then you had an adjacent of 6 and a hypotenuse of 8. This is almost the same question as Peeping Tom. I have 2 in there because they're difficult triangles to draw. But when you read the question, you know there are 2 buildings. One is taller than the other, so there's your drawing. One straight up and down line is one building. One straight up and down line that's taller is the other building. Then you just follow the instructions. Buildings are 21 meters apart. Angle of depression is 28. Angle of elevation, 37. Then you just do trig. And number 20, there's the mountain. This is not an art class. You do not get credit for how pretty your mountain looks. But there it is. They had to hike 3,252 meters together. Now, which person, just looking at the drawing, which person had to hike further? B or A? B. Why? Because its degree is higher, so it was taller. Higher degree, taller triangle, therefore longer hypotenuse. Heather.
We use meters, but 1350, that's in feet.
Okay.
Okay, so if we...
The number is a number. Here, it's 3,252 quetzals. The numbers are what matter. Quetzals aren't a real thing. They're an ancient bird that is long since extinct, I believe. That is everything. Ask your questions now, because now I'm about to give you a quiz.
Is it on this?
It's on trigonometry. Now, listen please. I'm going to make this very simple for you. Is everybody listening? I'm going to hand out the quiz and I'm going to give you 15 minutes to work on it. At the end of that 15 minutes, we are going to mark it. Listen to me closely, please. If you finish your quiz early, the next thing that we are doing today, and you will finish it tomorrow, and we will mark it tomorrow, is the review that starts on page 73. It is page 73 to page 76. But I have to make sure of one thing before I go on. I have to make sure I did something. I did. Yes. Okay. So when you do that review, and I'm going to warn you now, because some of you are going to start that review while your classmates are working on the quiz still. And you're going to get to a question that you find incredibly difficult, and you are going to want to ask me about it, but your classmates are writing a quiz. Do not go on to other questions that you do not need to ask me about. Do I make myself clear? When everybody has done the quiz and we have marked the quiz, you may work with each other to try and solve that. Every question on that review, you have all the necessary tools to figure out. What was the operative phrase in that sentence I just gave you? Figure out. Sometimes you have to do work. Okay? When I am done, or when you are done the quiz, you may start on that review. We will mark it 15 minutes after everyone starts. Then you will have the rest of this period to work on that review. And you will, tomorrow being a short day, because this is an X block day, you will have approximately half an hour tomorrow in class to finish it. We will mark it for the last half an hour. You will be writing your trigonometry test on Friday.
This Friday?
Yeah, I'm aware of that. And you will have 40 minutes to write a 20-minute test. As many as I see fit. You don't finish it. That proves to me you don't know what you're doing.
What if you need more time?
You need more time because you don't know what you're doing. We've had this discussion.
No,
Yes. Is that clear? What? Okay. That's all. Barring if there is going to be a change, it will depend on performance tomorrow on this review. If I find myself uncomfortable with your level of understanding, then
Bring it on Monday.
Jenny, you're going downstairs, right? Tushar, up to this desk, please. Then we will move the test to Monday. But it will depend on how tomorrow goes. What? I'm sorry, what? If you don't come to the test and you have not been excused by your parent, or you bring me a note from your parent, you get 0 on the test. You would do the test the next class day outside of the class, because I spend the next class day going over the test. Or you can take 0 on it, not write it at all, and put all your eggs in your cumulative basket. Any other questions? Excellent. I'm going to give this out right now. The 15 minutes will start when everybody has it. I'm going to start in the middle because the middle people always get screwed and get their test last. So this time I'm going to start with them. Right? I know. Of course it is A, because to do Pythagoras you need 90 degrees. That is the only one that has 90 degrees. Which of those following is a Pythagorean triple? A as well, which you checked because the smaller numbers had to be A and B, and the biggest number had to be C, because you know that in a right angle triangle, the legs are the short ones, the hypotenuse is the long one. A carpet has side lengths of 3.2 and 4.6. What is the distance across there? It's just Pythagoras, and it is C, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't it? Yes. And this is the exact same question. 32, 43, how wide is it? If I'm not mistaken, it is D, 54. A ladder is 5 meters long. 5. The ladder will be 1.5 away. How far up the wall will it reach? It is B? D. No, I got to check that one because I can't. They're too close to do in my head. My estimate is off. So it is, of course, 5 squared minus 1.5 squared square rooted. Square root 25 minus 1.5 squared. It is D. And tangent relates the C, opposite and adjacent. So far you have 6 marks available to you. The tangent of 40, I don't know that off by heart, but it is B. And that is over adjacent. 6.4 divided by 10. 53 is C. Will a pencil that is 15 centimeters long fit into a pencil case that is 10 by 13?
No.
Yes, because that is longer than 15. That is the square root of 269, which is greater than 15. It's 16 something.
Oh, yeah. I got that, but I said I know it wrong.
If you drew it correctly, I am willing to give you half a mark.
What if they answer this correctly, but you just said no? Half a mark?
Yeah, because the question is, will it fit? So if you said no, that's not right. But if you drew it correctly, I'm willing to give you half a mark because of my Grinchy heart being 2 sizes too big. This is Pythagoras. Of course, it is the square root of 9.4 squared minus 6.4 squared, which is 6.9. Yeah, that sounds about right. For 1 mark. And lastly, draw a picture. Where's the 80 gotta be? The way I've drawn it? Or does it even matter? It can't be here. I can make that 80, or I can make that 80. Both are acceptable. If I make this one 80, then where does the 30.6 go? On the vertical side. If I made the bottom one 80, then where does the 30.6 go? Right there. You have to have one of these, either the blue or the pink, to get the 1 mark for the drawing. Then you solve the question. Tan 80 equals adjacent, opposite over adjacent, x over 30.6. And it is 30.6 times tan 80. And the answer is like 170 something.
173.
173. To get your other mark there. Making that out of 2. Making the whole thing out of 2, 3, 4, and 8 is 12. Give yourself a mark out of 12 in the front. You will hand it up to the front of your row. I will record it, then bring it around to you while you are working on your review. Now listen to me and listen to me closely again, ladies and gentlemen. If you get stuck on a question on any kind of assignment, what is the best thing to do? Sit there and stress, or get everything else you possibly can done? That one. So when you get to number 5 on your review, because I know that's the first one you are going to stress out about, if you can't figure it out, do not waste 40 minutes on it. Okay? Okay. Quiz out of 12, hand them up to the front. I'll collect them, record them, and bring them right back to you.
What did you get? 11?
So you have them for studying purposes. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, after this week, you will be on a 1 leaving a week schedule. I have changed my mind. I said 2, and I thought maybe when I threatened 2, people would stop leaving as much as they leave. They didn't. So now I'm dropping it to 1. Just to help you out, a lot of kids have trouble with this very first question because they can't envision what this is. That is the corner of a room. This is wall. This is wall. This is floor.
I see.
And no matter what these look like, how do you know they're all 90 degrees? Because they all have the little symbol. Any other questions? Excellent. Go. I will be walking around offering assistance in scant moments.